cool story on Flex LNG was the 10-year benchmark. It was rated the second best investment you could do. Of course, it depends on the timeline and where do you start, but still, the percentage was quite amazing. How would you summarize that? Maybe people don't know that, especially in the US side.
Yeah, of course, in Finansavisen had the story, best stocks the last decade in Oslo Stock Exchange, and of course this was from 2013 to 2023 or so at a certain time, and then of course Flex was number 2, 2,222.3% return, I believe, total return. So of course it's been highly successful.
Only beaten by
Kitron, I believe. Yeah. There wasn't that much either, but no. So I think we've been successful in executing that strategy we talked about already in 17, 18. Buy ships at the right time at very attractive prices. Let's call it 180, 185 million. It's today 265, and lead time is much longer. And then build the organization around that. And then once the market get better, lock those ships on long-term contracts. Of course, we were delayed in executing that strategy. Plan was to start doing that in 2020, but then COVID happened and derailed our plans. Yeah. But then once COVID kind of became less of an issue, we started doing this from 21, and we locked in a lot of ships in 21. We continued doing that in 22, where we added 38 years of minimum backlog. Right now we have first open ships, as I mentioned, 27, so we are marketing those. This is 2 ships early 27, or first half of 27. So it's about half a year earlier than the newest or the available slots on yards today. So we are optimistic about being able to put those on longer term contracts eventually. And also because the price now of the ships are so high, and with also high interest rate, it means that in order to defend such an investment, and if you are buying a ship speculatively today, you basically need $100,000 plus for 10 years in order to kind of get a reasonable return on those ships. So that means we've been guiding about 80,000 TC time charter equivalent earnings for our fleet for this year. So we do think that we can lock in ships on longer term contracts on higher rates than we have today. So they will be kind of accretive to our kind of fleet profile.
Yeah. So if you were to do a business case based on this performance, the conclusion would be the right timing, the right investments, and also, being a bit adaptable to the strategy.
Yeah.
Is that it?
No, in shipping you need to really invest at the right times. If you, I would say 67% of the time you should never invest. So you need to invest when you are on when you get the ships at a reasonable price. And then of course, most segments in shipping, you're not able to really lock in ships for 5 to 10 years charters. That's not really feasible in tankers and bulkers. But in LNG, which is industrial shipping, you are able to do that. So locking in ships on contracts and kind of just harvest that cash flow. And then since there's a lot of capital involved, you also need to do the financial engineering right. It's not only about getting the kind of the right margin, but structure a financing where you have a bit of diversity on maybe leases, banks, maturities, and for us we put 400 million of revolver, so we can have cash available but not really pay a lot for having that access to capital. So
so you can say when it's a good time, it will be very intriguing to look at new deals, see if you can buy some other ships, but you should instead then look at maybe financial engineering, tell the CFO to rather look at how to hedge interest rates and reap the rewards. But that is maybe easier said than to do all the time.
Of course, it's always nice to build new ships. It's fun. That's why people do it. But we've been more focused on I could build new ships now, pay 265 with kind of fully delivered price would be 280 plus, and then I got those ships end of 27. But I have already 2 ships in 27. It's much better for me and the shareholders that we focus on them and find them a long-term charters rather than running around building new ships. That's the easiest thing you can do.